Hello, Flosstube. I'm Elizabeth Martinez, Fantastitches. If you are returning to my channel or a first-time subscriber, hello and welcome. Um, I wanted to do a quick update today. It shouldn't be very long because I don't have much to show. But excuse me, just a moment. Sorry, that cat hair was bugging me. Um, I just wanted to show my progress. It's been about a week or so since my last update. I think I did my last update on the 4th of July, and today is the 14th. I should know that. Um, I've had a few things that went on, life in general, and a little bit of stitching update. So, um, life real quick. I didn't get as quite as much stitching done yesterday for my. I participate in Friday off the grid and didn't get quite as much done on Friday evening because we went out for my sister's birthday, and the night before, the day before, we had gone most of the afternoon and evening for my niece's graduation. She I've talked about her before, I think. She's a musician, she's a violinist, and she just graduated from high school, and she's very, very good. And I say this as a former professional musician. I worked with a lot of violinists, professional violinists who've, come in as guest artists, as well as the wonderful violinists that we had in the orchestra that played in the orchestra and as soloists sometimes and as chamber music artists and so forth. They're very good. And I think, I don't know what the future holds for her or what track she'll follow in the future, um, but she's very, very good on a wholly different level than I was ever on. Um, she practices a lot more. She's a lot more self-disciplined. She's a lot disciplined in general. I just think, it's funny because, like, as each generation goes by, you sort of evolve, uh, I think, in some ways. My dad wanted to be a musician, and just because of life circumstances, couldn't afford to go to college for very long. I think he went 1 year and then ended up, joining the army and, blah blah blah. So he didn't get to follow that dream. And I remember him mentioning to me that he wasn't sure how far he could have gotten at, in where his talent lay and all that. But he didn't get to follow that. So he made sure that we were all, we all had piano lessons. We were all in band. Yeah. In our family, it was my sister and I joked that the question was not, do you want to play an instrument? The question was, what instrument do you want to play? So my brother and my sisters and I were all, all had musical instruction to one level or another. And like I said, we all had piano lessons. We were all in band. Um, and then, so I went on to become a professional musician. I played in orchestras from the time I was in, excuse me, in junior high. I played in the junior Valley Junior Orchestra and on clarinet first, and then on bassoon uh, in that and orchestra, in the youth orchestra and youth symphony in Albuquerque over the years, and did a lot of playing with the Albuquerque Civic Light Opera Association. We did musicals like My Fair Lady in Oklahoma and so forth. I did that for all through college, and then I went to graduate school, and then I auditioned for a few years and got my job in Arkansas, in Little Rock, with the Arkansas Symphony. And then now my niece, my younger sister's daughter, is on track to be a great violinist. She's anyway. She just graduated. Uh, she went to online school, um, and so that she could have more time to practice. Like I said, much more disciplined than I was at her age, and she's just really great. She's going to actually she's going to school in Boston in the fall, and she's doing a recital here in August. Um, uh, but yeah, she's fantastic. She was in Philadelphia this summer for a couple of weeks, doing a camp out there, and we got to hear some of her performances live streamed. And I think she's going to go out there sometime. She won a competition, the solo competition out there, and so she's going to go out back out. I guess during their regular season. Um, with this orchestra and do a solo with this orchestra. Anyway, so we went to. She graduated on Thursday. The online school held a graduation, so we went to that. And I took my stitching with me because we had to be there a little bit early, about an hour or so early because we had to drop her off. And we had weren't sure where we were going to. Sit because my mother is has one of those wheelie walker things, and walking is long distances is hard for me too. So my sister had uh, got seats, was trying to get seats together and handicap seating and blah blah blah. So we had to go early, and so I took my stitching with me because I was thinking, well, we're going to be there for quite a while, and you know I can work on it while we wait for it to start. But the theater where they held it was very very dark, and I mean I could barely see to walk in. And anyway, so I didn't do any stitching while I was there. And then we went out to eat afterward, and we had pizza afterward. It was great, and, great family time. And then last night, Friday night, we went out again for my younger sister's birthday is coming up on Sunday, the 15th. So we went out on Friday to Texas Roadhouse. Is a steakhouse? I don't know. We went out there, and I had catfish rather than steak because I haven't had uh, catfish like that in ages, and I just thought I saw it on the menu. I thought that's what I had. There was a place in Little Rock I used to go to all the time called the Flying Fish, and they had great catfish there, and I used to get that once in a while, once a month or so. It wasn't far from my house, and I really missed it. And so when I saw the catfish on the menu, I got that. So yeah, Thursday night we had pizza. Friday night I had catfish. We had steak, whatever. And yeah, so uh, today is Saturday. Excuse me. Sorry. Anyway, so now stitching update. I've been working pretty much exclusively on this Silver Creek Samplers sweet marmalade. This tiny mouse lives in a house beneath the berry shade. He gathers up the ripest fruit and makes sweet marmalade. So this is almost finished. I'm working on the vine border. If I can hold it, see if I can. So each one of these little legs sticking out of the vine is a berry goes on each of them. So some of them are there because I stitched various berries here and there as I went along, and so the wording is done. And like I said, I changed mouse, berry, and sweet marmalade. They originally were the same color as the other words, but I made them the same shade as the berries. And I talked about how I had done this mouse. I made his pocket lighter. Yeah, the pattern calls for Gentle Arts threads, but I did DMC conversion, and I just went online and found a DMC conversion. And for the vine, the color was green tea leaf, I think is the name. Oh, sorry, I don't have it here. Yeah, green tea leaf. And I couldn't find a DMC equivalent listed anywhere, so I just chose a color. But the color I chose was dark, and I did just the beginning of it here, and it was very dark. It was almost the same color. I mean, it was very close to this berry color in darkness. It was a dark green color, and I really didn't. I didn't like the way it looked. So I just chose a lighter color. And if you look at the original, this color, it doesn't look very green at all. It looks almost, it like here is a close comparison. It's almost the same color as the lettering. And I was a little concerned because it was almost the same color as the lettering. But it's a little bit, you can kind of tell the difference. It's a little bit lighter. But I like the way it looks because it looks a little bit more like the design. Anyway, so each one of these little legs coming off the vine, a berry goes on the end of those. So I have a lot of berries to stitch in the future. But it's almost, the vine is almost done, and then I just have the berries. I'm down at the bottom here, and I have the vine ends right here at the mouse's feet, and then there's another section of it that comes up this side here and curls around this blank space. There is one little error right here. When I was going backwards, and I was counting between the T and the S here, and I miscounted by one stitch. So this is supposed to be like 4 in between the T and the S, and there's 5 places, because when I was doing the vine, I started here, and I was going around, and I think it was when I got to the I in tiny. Right here, things weren't lining up the way they were supposed to, and part of it was I had left 2 stitches off this line right here, this long line. So I thought, oh, well, that's the problem. That's why there's not lining up. So I went back, and I actually had to, took out this little section here. And I went back, and I did the 2 more stitches, and I did this again, and I did this again, and I came over here, and I thought, well, this isn't lining up right again. It's still not lining up right. And so then I realized my little error right here, and so I just added another stitch to the vine here, and then everything lined up right. So I don't think that's going to make that much of, not going to make a difference. I don't think you can see it, and I don't think anybody can tell. The only thing that's is that this is in the wrong place by 1. So I might have to fudge a little bit more. Just add a stitch when I do the vine right here in this area over the mouse. But it's not, a problem. Otherwise, I haven't. I had to take out, part of the stitching because I left a couple of stitches out in one place. I had to go back and redo something. Oh, right here in the corner. Somewhere I left a couple of stitches out, and I had to go back and put them back in. But otherwise, the vine is almost done, and I just have to do the berries, and and then right down here there's a place in the original design. Oops, sorry. For you to put the year and your initials, and there's a little chart there with numbers and letters, for you to add the year and your initials on there. The only problem is, for me, the 5, the 5 is really, great. This is, 2015, and that 5 is fantastic looking. And, the 2 is elongated, and the chart, or that has the numbers, is very basic. And since it's 2018, this would be an 8, right? And the chart, the 8 it's very boring. It's just, 4 and a little bit longer 6, I think, or something, for the lower part of the 8. So I may elongate the 8 a little bit differently to make it, longer and fit in that. And then my initials will go there. It'll be EM at the bottom. So it's almost finished. And I don't think I can finish it in a day or two, today. But somebody, I don't know who it was, is starting a birthday stitch-along, an Alice in Wonderland pattern for her birthday, which is the 15th, and which is also my sister's birthday. But I thought, well, I'll stitch something, I'll start something for her birthday as well. And I had my little mouse, my little elephant. I showed him before. His little bib. And I found the mouse that goes on that bib. The mouse pattern. Oh, sorry. The mouse pattern. And this is a little kit that came with this plastic hanger and the Ada fabric, and instructions on how to stitch it and how to finish it and all that stuff. And I like this design, but it's a little too wide for that bib. So I thought, well, I know I can adapt. I can move the tail around. I can make the tail, sit differently and whatever. But I wasn't sure about this. So I finally got my computer working here. It's still a mess. But anyway, so I think I can leave this part of this leaf off, and I will have to do some changes here to make this fit. And then the B, I can move over here and change, his little these stitches that indicate his flight. So the kit comes with, it's supposed to be 1/1 on that piece of Ada cloth. And the other day I sat and I just made some little cards with these that are not numbered. The colors that are not numbered, they're just they were just put in the kit blob. And so I had to sort of go through them and figure out which color was which. Like they have, for instance, a pink and a pale pink, or pale pink and light pink. And I sort of had to go through and look at them. So these are the little kit threads. And so I spent one afternoon dividing finding the threads and making the little cards for them. But yeah. So, and there's a little bit of backstitching and, but mostly just the little mouse. And so I cranked up my computer, and I don't mind showing this to you. But, so this red line is the outline of the bib, more or less. I didn't do it all completely on that side. But on this side, I might have to change. I had changed the flower somewhat, but I kind of left. I forgot. I didn't realize this was where it was. But I had written that I'd taken a piece of graph paper and drawn out the area of the bib a little bit, which was kind of painstaking because I had to like basically count. It's not consistent, consistent even oval where I could just say, oh well, it's gonna be this wide by this tall or whatever. It's a little uneven, So I kind of went through and counted how many squares and so yeah, usable squares are on this little bib thing, and I'm gonna. This is kind of the middle, so I found the middle on this mouse design, and so anyway, I'm hoping to start it on Sunday for my sister's birthday, and because I don't want to wait all the way till the end of the month, the uh, last Sunday of the month for the high tea start, which I may or may not do, since I'll be working on I have so many things in the works. I was always tried to be a monogamous stitcher, and because like I say, if I don't concentrate on one thing, I I won't get it done. And over the years, I've had various projects that I have not that are unfinished. So I've worked on I worked on them actually for Stitch Mania. I found 9 projects that I could work on, um, and I did 9, and then did them again for the second half of the first 18 days in May, and then I kind of after that I went back to I was doing Daily Walk in the Woods, and I went back to that one after Stitch Mania ended, or well after the 18th, and worked another day on that, um, and then I think and then I started on my design on Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing, which I'm not showing today because I haven't worked on it since I started on this mouse. So now I have my piano cat that my nephew gave me for Christmas. That's still languishing in a bag, and Daily Walk in the Woods that I started working on because I was kind of not exactly bored, but working on Piano Cat, it's very difficult. Like I've talked about that before, how it's really hard to see and takes a lot of concentration. You have to be really wide awake and paying attention to what you're doing because it's all basically like confetti, I guess. And it's I'm working on one color right now, and it's hard to do because it's just hard to see. Anyway, so I Daily Walk in the Woods was what I worked on, you know, and I was working on both of them sort of for a while before Stitch Mania, and then toward the end of May, just before the high tea start, I think was when I started working on. Oh well, it was when I started working on my design, the Come That Found Every Blessing, and I got about I did like one verse, and I kind of stalled out and took a break from that and started Sweet Marmalade, and I'm almost done with that, and I'm starting the mouse and elephant thing. So, yeah, I have 5 whips going. And I know some people have a lot more, but others I think are faster stitchers and finishers. And, somebody like Priscilla and Chelsea, they whip those pups out and they finish them and they have remarkable finishes and all that. And I have not FFO'd anything for a while since Christmas, you know. And I have like three FOs sitting in my closet waiting to be FFO'd. And yeah, part of it is I feel like I don't really have a craft room here. Haven't had one in a while. Somebody, Pam and Chelsea, talked about having a blank wall behind me. That's a blank wall. Um, this is in my bedroom, and actually, if I finish something in a frame, I kind of have an idea that I might. It'll be on that wall, I think, so you can see it. But yeah, for now, I don't have anything on the walls anywhere. The things that I stitched for my mother that were hanging in the house in Albuquerque are still boxed up because we have a thing about where to put stuff on walls here in the new house. It's not really new anymore. We've been here since April or so, March or April. Um, but anyway, so yeah, little by little, we're putting things on walls and hanging things up, but there's still a lot to go. And two other things that I did just recently. I just now sent an email to um, the Stitching and Sequins. McKenna just did a video about the retreat she's hosting in April. And she only has 80 spots, and I'm hoping to get in on that. And so I sent her an email. I knew she was doing it at noon, and you so I sent an email in, followed all of her instructions, I hope. Um, and so I'm waiting to hear back to see where I am on her list. Um, anyway, so I did that today, a little while ago, about 15 minutes ago, or well, I don't know how long her video was. So anyway, a little while ago. So I'm waiting to hear where I am on that list of 80 people. And whether or not I get in or not, my older sister drives Uber for Uber here in the Phoenix area, Chandler, whatever. So if you come from out of town and you fly into Sky Harbor, or if you are at the hotel and need a ride somewhere, she's an Uber driver. You can, and she has a van. So if you call for an Uber ride from the hotel or whatever, she can fit 6 riders in her van. So if you want, if you call, I guess you can request an XL or whatever if you have 6 riders or you get a group of people to ride together. She can drive you wherever, And I want to say downtown Chandler. I've been at that hotel. My brother-in-law plays with the Chandler Symphony, and they had a reception there. I want to say a year ago or so. Um, they had like a end of the season reception or something like that there, and it was very nice. Yeah, yeah. And Pilates Betty, that I talked about before, is right there in downtown Chandler as well, a few blocks away, and I've eaten there as well at this. There's a hamburger place there that I ate at on, kind of across from near Pilates Betty. And so yeah, there's lots of places downtown that you can go to very easily. Um, so I'm hoping to go there that I can that I got on the list or whatever, that I made it on the list. Anyway, so there's a plug the for the Arizona Stitch Fest. And the other thing is I bought my first project bag. I'm waiting for it. I bought a project bag from Evertotes, from uh, Caroline at Friday Off the Grid. She hosts Friday Off the Grid, but she and her sister-in-law um, make project bags for Evertotes, and she posted one with a lizard design, a chameleon, in honor of a chameleon named Mo that a friend of hers had as a pet. Um, but anyway, I love lizards, and there's actually I saw there's a couple of lizards that live here around our house. They eat bugs, which is great. So we like lizards in here. But I noticed there was one on the window screen. I had gone out to look. We had recently had a railing put in, what do you call it? To get out of the pool, a rail put in. And I went out to look at it, and then when I came in, I thought, oh, there's a lizard on the window screen, on the screen of the window. And I thought, wait, is that lizard on the inside of the screen? And the corner of the screen in that particular window is like, I guess, off a little bit, coming off. So it's an opening there. So I think that's how he got in. But, hey, like I said, they eat bugs, so they're good to have around. And then last night when we came home, there was a lizard on the wall by the light, by the backyard, by the garage door. So he was probably eating bugs that were attracted to that light. But yeah, it was cute. It was a very, very pinky lizard. But anyway, so yeah, so I got a lizard bag from Evertotes, and I'm waiting for it to come in the mail. And when it does, it's my first official project bag. I have like a lot of tote bags and stuff from various things that I use, and I have been using these, plastic bags, just plastic Ziploc bags, to put my projects in, try to keep the cat hair to a minimum, which doesn't always work because I have my cat Snug. There he is. I say his name and he magically appears from under the bed. But Snug has a habit of lying on top of whatever I'm paying attention to. So if I'm watching TV, he'll lie on top of the remote, and sometimes his fat body changes the channel or pulls up, some odd, the grid, the menu grid or whatever, something, because he lies on the remote. But also if I happen to be, I usually stitch, basically lying or sitting on the bed, and he will climb up on the bed and try to, if I don't stop him, he will lie down on top of my pattern, on top of my project bag, on top of my actual cross-stitching project, whatever I'm working on, whatever I have on the bed, he will lie down on top of it. As a matter of fact, I have I have a little scratch on my thumb because I was stitching that little mouse, and I had just started a thread that was kind of long, and I went to pull it, and he just reached out his paw to grab it, and he so he grabbed the thread and he grabbed my thumb while he was at it, and Fortunately, he didn't mess anything up, but he poked me in the thumb. I was bleeding a little bit, just a little oozy bleed, and I was afraid I was going to get blood on my project, so I had to stop the bleeding, and cat, naughty naughty kitty. He's sitting at my feet, being very naughty. Anyway, so that's all the update I have right now. Just I hope to finish this sweet marmalade very soon, and I have a lot of berries to go though. A lot of berries to stitch, and they're I don't wanna carry the thread. I did carry uh, the thread here between these two because they were so close together. I didn't want to, stop the thread and start again or whatever. But these individual berries, they'll probably will probably stitch them individually because this berry thread color is so dark. I'm afraid that if I were to carry anything, that you'd be able to see it, because right here I was a little concerned with being able to see the thread connecting the two. You can kind of see it, kind of not. I don't know. But anyway, most of them are far enough apart from each other that it wouldn't really be possible to carry the thread. But I'm gonna try not to. But there's a lot of berries to stitch. So that may take me longer than it looks like. Anyway, so I think that is all I've got so far. And I'm just waiting to hear whether or not I got into the Stitch Fest or not, or whether I'm on the waiting list. I don't. It's kind of hard to judge those things because there's only 80 spots, and I don't know who all is interested in going or can go or can can commit that the non-refundable amount that McKenna was talking about. But there's a cat knocking, sitting on everything. Excuse me. Snug. No, no. Stop. Anyway, so I'm gonna go so I can beat my cat with a stick. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna beat him with a stick. I promise. Anyway, so I think that's all I have this week. This week. So in the meantime, till next time, stitch all the things. Be happy. Be keep going. And I hope I'll be finished by this time next week. I'll have a new finish or whatever. So anyway, I'll see you till I can't speak. I will see you next time. Thanks.